How many games are capable of drawing the attention of millions of players, but some of them just seem to do it like nobody's business. The following games are either extremely successful with dozens, sometimes hundreds of millions of registered users, or up-and-coming blockbusters that are getting a lot of players in record time. If you haven't touched a single game from this list, then either you don't want to get addicted in a way that could cost you a lot of sleepless nights, some missed meals, or you just haven't touched a computer in the last decade. Either way, there's still time to make amends. So without further delay, let's begin with a list of some of the most successful free-to-play games of late.
FreeMMOStation.com.
Dragon Online has been around since 2011, and it's regarded as one of the best browser-based MMOs. It's an action RPG akin to Diablo with great graphics and also available in a downloaded version. So despite the obvious appeal of this game, it's frequently been criticized for the excessive focus on monetization, asking players for real money in exchange for stuff that's kind of vital to progress. However, the recent update to Dragon Online is said to improve on these issues, removing the crystals of truth, which were needed to identify a looted item before being able to equip, among other changes. With over 900 quests, 90 maps, Dragon Online boasts over 29 million registered players, and it's available in 20 different languages. So truly, this is a game with global appeal. Warframe is a cool game for cool kids who think that the only thing better than being a ninja is being a space ninja. Nonetheless, Digital Extreme's co-op shooter is a blast, fun and fast, with lots to do and lots to shoot. It can become a little bit repetitive, but with frequent updates and over 10 million registered users as of September 2014, it will certainly continue to grow even more considering the original PC version has been followed by PS4 and Xbox One versions. Considering the clone-to-death pay-to-win military shooters out there, it's great to see a game such as Warframe, full of style and with devoted developers. While the initial player reactions of Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft was somewhat mixed, a lot of players were like, ew, a collectible card game, milk it much. It only really took a few months for everyone to see just how addicting the game really is. The pacing is perfect, and the average game lasts around 15 minutes, just long enough to keep it fresh and also suited for tablet players who wish to kill some spare time. It's clean, it's compelling, and we also think it's somewhat fair, despite some voices saying otherwise. Online card games were making a comeback, but after Hearthstone, we're seeing so many of them that it's just becoming a little bit too much. Yeah, if there's any one game that dares to bring something new to the MOBA genre, the game's gonna be Smite. Using an ingenious setting and above all a fresh third-person perspective, Hi-Rez took a gamble that clearly paid off. What at first looks like a small detail actually changes the entire game, bringing players right into the middle of the action, and drastically changing the skill set required to be successful in this MOBA. While fairly recent, Smite's already the proud owner of a huge player base, with 6 million registered players as of December 2014, and growing. Something that's only going to improve with the release of the Xbox One version. This is a game that's here to stay, even though it's nearly impossible for any MOBA to rub its shoulders with Dota 2 and League of Legends. Despite the good reviews, Terra's lifespan as a subscription-based MMORPG didn't even last an entire year. It was when it turned free-to-play that everyone and their moms decided to see what this MMO had to offer, and what it has to offer is already well known to millions of players. Action-based combat, a huge and diverse seamless world, plenty of big-ass monsters to fight, impressive graphics, and publisher NMAS Entertainment is giving the game a nice boost with the Fate of Rune expansion and more stuff to come during 2015, including a new gun-toting class, which we bet is the Arcane Engineer. As far as free-to-play MMORPGs go, Terra has ruled the genre for a few years, but heavy competition is coming soon with Black Desert Online. From vaporware to instant classic, Team Fortress 2 is another proof that Valve can do no wrong, even if it means going back to the drawing board several times and delaying a game for almost a decade, or developing another game for an entire decade, like they're probably doing with Half-Life 3. We know. One of the most acclaimed games and consistently one of the most played on Steam, TF2 is a thrilling mix of fantastic art style, addicting gameplay, and humor. We have no clue as to how many registered players there are in Team Fortress 2 right now, yeah, but what we do know is that it translates to a hell of a lot of hats. Dota 2 is a game that is quite literally ruining lives. Right now, someone somewhere forgot to eat just to play one more match of this MOBA. In another corner of the world, another player just ditched a beautiful girl to play his 10th match of the day. And in a remote region, it's already 5 a.m. and there's a guy that just won't quit the game and go to sleep. As a positive note though, we haven't yet seen any news reports accusing Dota 2 of being behind some kind of real life shooting or anything like that, so it's not that bad. Anyways, Dota 2 is played daily by hundreds of thousands of players, and there's really no sign of it slowing down. If Dota 2 and League of Legends were mixed martial arts fighters, then this fight would be the stuff of legend. With over 110 million players registered across all platforms, it's kind of hard to believe that World of Tanks was once called cheap Asian stuff and worse by many big publishers before it became the big free-to-play hit that it is nowadays. The game alone has allowed developers Wargaming to expand to over 1,000 staff all over the world and develop further games based on the same business model, including World of Warplanes, World of Warships, and the collectible card game World of Tanks Generals. It is great to see an underdog outperform some arrogant publishers and show them that sometimes originality and attention to detail can actually go a really long way. League of Legends isn't the game that created the MOBA genre, but it's certainly the one that started all the craze and spawned dozens of copycats. Growing from the nice game that was released in 2009 to the colossus that we now know and love today, League of Legends has so much going for it, so many champions to choose from, that it's played in competitions all over the world, from North America to Europe, China, Korea, and everywhere. Older data says that over 67 million people play it per month, which means that nowadays the number of registered users should be way over that. No matter how many MOBAs are released every year, League of Legends will always be regarded as the one game that made the genre popular in a way that was unthinkable just a few years ago. What else can we say about RuneScape? Recognized by the Guinness World Records as the world's largest free-to-play MMORPG and the most updated game? Really not much, clearly. With well over 200 million registered users and frequent updates, including an old-school RuneScape created to please fans of the older versions, Jagex's Classic is a stubborn beast that simply refuses to die and that defies all business logic, being successful for way over a decade. RuneScape is a multitasking phenomenon, and while there's a lot of debate just over how free the free-to-play model is in the game, that hasn't stopped millions of players from enjoying it, and a few millions to mock it. Certainly out of envy that their favorite games aren't nearly as popular as RuneScape is, and never will be, let's be honest, we're sure of it. While some of the games on this list are undisputed blockbusters, and a few of them are personal bets, there are others that would also deserve a mention, such as DC Universe Online, Path of Exile, Second Life, Lord of the Rings Online, EverQuest, or PlanetSide 2. It's not just the millions of registered players, it's also the overall quality of the games and their relevance to the genre that matter here. So if you think there's a huge game that deserved a mention, please let us know in the comments below. Now, go enjoy some of these games right away.
Still not sick and tired of all the MOBAs yet? Good for you, because the developers of Heroes of Newerth has just announced another one, Strike. This is another free-to-play MOBA, and the studio expects the two games to compete between